One, MetLife Stadium Drive, one of the two NFL stadiums shared by two teams. But we're not here to talk about that or that team across the hall. Keith Ippolito and John Rad are only here to talk about the true football giants. We talk Giants football and wherever else the conversation may take us. So deal with it. This is the Shared Stadium Podcast.
Man, August 6th seemed like it was so long ago. Boy, that was a happier time. Ever since then, I don't even have it open. Welcome into the Shared Stadium Podcast. I'm John Rad, along with my teammate Keith Ippolito. We're going to talk all things New York Giants and kind of whatever else moves us. But before we kick it off, Ips, what's happening, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing good. No complaints. Life is good. Obviously, besides our football team, everything else is good. You know. I mean, New York fan. It's been a rough month between the Yankees debacle and the World Series against the Dodgers. And
wasn't that really a debacle? Like, let's talk about that before we get into Giant stuff.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Quick side note to the 5 people that follow us, the 5 of you, thank you for sticking with us.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
Life has been lifing. Sorry.
Yeah.
We haven't been here. Life has just been lifing, and that's what it does. And so we're back. But let's talk about that. Is it really a debacle? I mean, because everybody's so hard. Oh, my goodness. The Yankees are in the World Series, and then they drop a turd. We weren't supposed to be there. Like, let's be objective about this. We weren't even supposed to be at the World Series. We got lightning in a bottle, and it took us all the way to the World Series, and we ran into the buzzsaw that was the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly did not expect us to win against the Dodgers, but you know what made it worse is just because the way that it ended. You know, that 5th inning, it was so horrendous. I mean, it's you have the routine fly ball drop by Judge. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, I mean, did I expect them to go back to LA and, basically win? No, but
No.
I mean, being, it was making it at least, somewhat competitive and interesting to watch. And it was just, it just kind of sucks, but it also kind of furthers the narrative about this team that, even, with Juan Soto and all the pieces and Judge and everything is like, I still don't feel like we have a championship caliber team. I don't believe in the manager.
See, that's the big problem. Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Now we're stuck with Boone longer.
Yeah.
That's my biggest problem through it all. Is now he looks like, he knows what he doesn't. I'm tired of his antics. I'm tired of everything that he does. He's not the guy. I'm sorry. We don't have a championship caliber team. We have a good looking team to wear Yankees pinstripes. They fit Yankee pinstripe looks. They can sell jerseys. They're great with fans. They're selling cards. They're great for advertising. But we don't have a world championship team.
Yeah, no, believe me, I agree with you. I've said the manager Aaron Boone wasn't the right hire since day one, and I believe this is going on year 8 this coming season, and I believe he has another 2 years left on his deal or whatever. So, I mean, they fired Joe Girardi, basically for not performing in the 2017 ALCS, losing in Game 7 against the Astros. And here we are going into year 8 with Aaron Boone, and he hasn't won anything. I mean, he got to a World Series, but I mean, Girardi at least had the one that he won in 2009. Aaron Boone, I honestly don't trust his managerial skills. I'm also, I'm very thankful for, Cashman for what he did in the past, but I've been to the point where I think it's time for maybe a new voice. And, Hal and, the sister and the other brother, I honestly just don't really think they care as much as George did. As long as they're selling corporate sponsors and all the other different things and the money train's rolling, I honestly don't think that they're going to make any changes, man.
Lean a little closer. All you guys, let's get a little
Come on.
closer to the microphone. Hey, Ips, doesn't that sound like some people we know? Don't say any names.
Oh yeah.
We don't want to get sued.
Yep.
But it sounds a lot like some people we know. That's all I'm saying
yeah.
about that. And
Yeah.
we know personally how that turns out. And I think you're exactly right. George, Mr. Steinbrenner he treated baseball like a guy who wanted the best set of baseball cards if you're a kid, if you grew up collecting baseball cards, you remember that, like, if you went to like the card shows where you could buy the one-off card, because you buy the pack. You always got the pack, but then you buy the one-off card that you might have to pay $50, $25, whatever.
Yeah.
That was Mr. Steinbrenner. His kids are buying packs, hoping that, ooh, look what we got. Ooh, look what we got. Ooh, look what we. And they're not doing it that way. And granted, I get it. It hindered us because we had no farm system. But at the same time, we were always playoff contenders. We were winning championships. The city was rocking in pinstripes, and now here we are. And I'm ready for some new voices. I'm ready to see something different. Another team that's going to be seeing something different, just down the hall. I promise you, we'll get to the Giants in a minute. Give us a minute. Down the hall, the Jets. They fired Joe Douglas.
Yeah.
Joe Douglas has been the GM since 2019, and from the looks of it, it looks like they're putting everything on Aaron's back, like giving him whatever he wants, basically.
Oh, well, I mean, they've given him everything he's wanted, whether it's between wide receivers and everything. So
hiring the coach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that's the dumbest thing you can do, because we're not talking about the Aaron Rodgers that is 2 years removed from a Super Bowl. We're not talking about the Aaron Rodgers we're talking about a guy who is knocking on 40, over 40 now.
I think it's a very valid question. Is he not retiring at the end of this year? Is he even back with the team? Is he even with them next year?
Yeah, it's 100% a valid question. And I think part of the reason why they're doing that is because they're hoping that he will be there next year.
Yeah.
And 40 years old. He had the very first play of the very first minute of his team wearing Jets green, pops his Achilles.
Yeah.
And he's not going to spend his offseason taking care of his body the way that you would want your star quarterback to. He's going to go up to the mountains and have some ayahuasca tea and
he's gonna
and whatever else.
And hang out with the shaman or whatever the hell he does.
You know what? It's not our problem. We have other problems to worry about.
Yes, we do. At 2-8, we don't have much wiggle room to talk, run our mouths.
At least the Jets have a real quarterback. Because, here's the bad news. For those of y'all who were trying to figure out, what was he talking about in the open? October 6th was the last time we won a game. That was against the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
After that, it was lost to the Bengals, Eagles, Steelers, Commanders. We even lost to the bloody Carolina Panthers. I counted that as a win.
Oh, I did expect us to win the Panthers because, the Panthers they're, they were the worst team in the league. Now, it's us. It's us now. And
the sad part, I don't see another win on this calendar.
Yeah, honestly,
so you go this week, the 24th. The Buccaneers. Maybe we catch lightning in a bottle. We beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Saints, the Ravens, the Falcons, the Colts, the Eagles. I don't see a win on there.
I don't. I honestly don't. And at this point, what's the point? At 2-8, the season's been over for a long time, but
long time. But wait, as the old movie says, but wait, there's more.
But at this point, as we all know, it's down to nothing more than where you're picking in the draft, who we're bringing in as the next quarterback.
Wait, whoa. We have our quarterback, Keith.
Oh,
Daniel Jones is our quarterback, sir.
do we now?
Daniel Jones is our quarterback, sir. I mean, okay, I get it. He's not the starting quarterback because he's now been benched, which can I just say, what did I say? I said by week 5 he should have been benched, right? Week 5, week 6.
Yeah. And to be honest, most of the fan base, and by week 5, week 6, I was more than ready to have him benched too. I didn't see the point of it.
No, because by week 5, we had only won one game, 2 games.
Yeah,
we beat the Browns and the Seahawks.
Well, yeah, and so to bring in, financial reasons for the team, it would have been negligence and malpractice of the organization, Joe Shane and everyone, if they started him this week, because he has that clause in his contract where if he's healthy and all that, then they have to pay him. So it's if the injury clause. So it would be malpractice of this team to start him now at 2-8. That knowing that if something happened and then they had to fork over and basically put a handicap on the team and everything again. So it was, not only was it the right move to make, I mean, I guess I could see both sides of it, because I could see, I think there's some unhappy people in the locker room too, but financially and organizationally, it was 100% the right move to be done with him.
We are going to be stuck with him another year. As I've just looked up, because you're exactly right. As I looked up the details of his contract, this year, $30 million.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, $46.5 million.
Yeah.
We're stuck with him for another year.
Yeah.
Because no team within their right mind is picking up that contract unless you can package him up in a trade. And ultimately, you're going to have to give away some good pieces, which we don't have a lot. You're going to have to package up some good pieces, put him in there with it, and ship him off. And so we're going to see him again next year. You're right. The injury clause, because none of that money's guaranteed. Injury clause makes all the money guaranteed. But the problem with that is we can't keep putting him out there when there are moments that I don't. Has he cost us games? No. Well, yes, he has.
Yeah.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
But he also can't get us back in the games either. Where I'm watching and it's just poor decision after poor decision after poor decision. And I understand everybody said, well, he's a Duke quarterback. His quarterback coach at Duke was the same one that trained Eli Manning. So great, there's something there. Yes, but also the same person that trained Mike Tyson doesn't make him an instant killer like Mike Tyson. No pun intended. Sorry about the timing. It doesn't make him that. And that's what he's not. You picked up a quarterback who played for Duke University and during some down years of the ACC, and you expected him to make it in the NFL. At this point in time, you should have just went out and got someone out of Georgia Southern. No disrespect to Georgia Southern. Got the quarterback from there and used him, because at this point in time, and then to re-up, and everybody knows the history of it, but I'm stating it just so people understand how stupid it was to keep going to this quarterback. And oh, by the way, you let Saquon Barkley leave to keep this moron, and this is why we're here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember when we drafted him, when Gettleman drafted him, and that it was a head scratcher then, and it still is a head scratcher now. Basically, you can see glimpses of talent there, but he's too Jekyll and Hyde, and the bad decisions is what ultimately is going to make him a basically a journeyman quarterback. I mean, I think at best he's a second string or a third string quarterback somewhere, which is, that's totally fine for him. But he's definitely not a starter. I mean, it's too many bonehead throws. I mean, how many times that I can't even count them all, but how many times just, being in the red zone and not scoring, not getting the clutch play, or fumbling the ball, or throwing a terrible interception in the red zone. So, like, if I had to sum up Daniel Jones' time in with the Giants, I mean, that's pretty much how I look at it. I mean, you know. He also was not put in the best of situations either. He had some terrible head coaches, had some terrible offensive lines, but I mean, I'm at this point, I mean, there's no more excuses now. I don't know. Maybe he can figure it out somewhere else, but I know it's not going to be with us. I can tell you that much.
You're exactly right that he'll be a journeyman quarterback. He'll be a backup forever. We'll look up and he'll be the backup for somebody, Brock Purdy,
Yeah.
and he'll go down and you're like, huh, Daniel Jones is still in the NFL? And then we're going to
Yeah.
look up and he'll be a head coach in college football for, a San Diego State or Fresno State and win a championship. And you're just going to be like, wow, he's that?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, good.
Yeah.
But as you're looking at it right now, even what you hear in the locker room, the energy is down, the morale is down.
Yeah.
And the thing I don't like about that, I've said it before, you don't want the young players to start hanging their head of just, this sucks, this isn't fun. Because this year, with it being the centennial year, it was supposed to be a little more fun. We got the jerseys, we got the helmets, we got neighbors, we got the defense. We were supposed to have a little bit more fun. But one of the problems that I also see with this franchise, they need to make amends with some former players.
Yeah.
I think back to Eli Manning being screwed by Ben McAdoo, not letting him get the starting record. You need to kind of call Eli if you haven't, and I don't know if they have or if they haven't, but call Eli, hey man, we're sorry. Because you think about it. You once again, we always say we're here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, Roddy White, Julio Jones, Tony Gonzalez. Those guys are always, the former players are typically always around this franchise.
Of course.
Osi Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, Michael Strahan's the only one that we hear talking about him because he's a national pundit.
Yeah, because he's got, the Good Morning America, and he's on the
Brandon Jacobs, and just so many more from Mario Manningham, Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
Just so many players that were a part of this team. They need to make amends with some of the former players. And it's like, hey, come on back. We love y'all. And we want you guys to be back a part of this. But to watch this product that's being doled out there week in and week out, I'm not saying I'm ready to give Brian Daboll the axe yet, because I think you need him if you bring in another quarterback.
Yes.
But at the same time, he needs to know he's on thin ice.
Oh, no, I agree with you. I've said, basically all season, I want to see him with a quarterback that him and Shane can, draft and try and develop as their own. I mean, let's, be honest here. I mean, he does have a track record of developing good quarterbacks and being successful, whether it's at the Bills or when his time at Alabama or whatever. So it's not like he's just some, Joe Blow off the street. So yeah, I do want to see him, try and develop a quarterback that he wanted, because I think it was very apparent to me. I'm sure it was very apparent to you, watching him and having some of the interactions that he was having with Jones, that you could kind of tell that he was like, all right, I'm stuck with you. I can't really move on from you yet, but I'm going to try and make this work. But I kind of know that you're not my guy, you know?
I got to have a quarterback. You're the one they told me I got to have. I'm going to do the absolute best I can. But at the end of the day, The first chance I can get to ship you off somewhere, I am.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to now,
Well, I mean, I thought it was very interesting today. I was looking on X earlier, and the Giants were looking at bringing on another quarterback onto their practice squad, and that kind of, again, I don't know anything, but it kind of was interesting when I saw that. I was like, oh, well, are they just gonna like rip the Band-Aid off and just release this guy, or what? Like, what is going on with that? I thought that was a little interesting.
remember, you get to have that third quarterback just in case the
Yeah,
first two
yeah.
go down.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah.
and if you're playing, and I mean, once again, you go back to who the Giants have left. They're not destroyer, destroyer teams, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
teams that have some
Yeah,
size
yeah,
and
yeah.
and some
Yeah, yeah,
ability out
yeah.
there that the last thing you want to have to do. I mean, the Ravens, we know that defense.
Well, yeah, yeah.
The Saints, we know that
The
defense.
Saints, yeah,
The
Saints.
Cowboys, we're going to talk about
Cowboys,
them here in a segment,
yeah.
and the
They have the
Eagles.
Eagles and they have the Commanders again, yeah. And
No, they got the two. They got
oh
the two
yeah,
with the
that's
Commanders out of the way.
that's
That's done.
right, that's right, that's right,
Thank
that's
God.
right. Yeah, thank
Thank
God
God.
is right.
But
Yes,
look,
yes.
at the end of the day, well, first let me backtrack. You got to think, and this is why teams probably don't want to do hard knocks. Who was it that was it Joe Schoen, the GM, who
Oh,
said
Joe Shane, yeah.
Shane, don't let Saquon go down the road,
Yep.
and I don't want to have a $40 million.
Oh no, that was Mara, John Mara.
I don't want to have a $40 million quarterback handing off the ball to a $25 million running back. I bet you he wishes he had that $25 million running back and the $40 million quarterback somewhere else.
I mean, I think a lot of people would much rather have, spent that money on Saquon, especially when you see him, some of the video game moves that he's been doing. I guess that game was 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Can you do that?
Can I do that? Let me find out for you tomorrow at the gym. I'll have my buddy set up a video camera and we'll see how it goes. And I'll send you the video.
So
and then we can post it on social.
Set up the pads. Say just call it. Let's be generous. Set him up to be about what 5'5", 5'5".
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he jumped over a man backwards. So
I know.
5'5".
Yeah.
You don't have to do backwards, but if you can do it backwards with the split, I mean, let's see it.
Backward with the split. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I'll let you know tomorrow.
Oh wow. But look, we are bad. There's no might about it. But we are not the Dallas Cowboys. And
no. Thank God.
Record-wise, yes, we are the bottom feeders. We're 2-8. I think we're tied with the Ravens. Not the Ravens, the Raiders. Excuse me. We're tied with the Raiders and the Browns, which is sad state of affairs.
Yeah. Well, noticeable that two of those teams might have some of the two worst quarterback contracts in the history of the game. I think Deshaun is definitely one of them. I don't know if Daniel is yet. Maybe he's in the top 5. I find that it's very, very interesting.
He's up there, and the Raiders don't even have a quarterback. Gardner Minshew. Minshew is back there, but we're not the Cowboys, where the players are basically revolting against their coach, and that's
how the hell does he still have a job?
Because he's a yes man to the GM and the owner of the team. And if you don't know, they're one and the same person. As long as you say yes to him, you get to keep your job. I mean, how long have we seen guys hanging around and you're just like, how does he still have a job?
But speaking of Jerry, did you happen to see him on the panel at the Tyson fight?
No,
he looks in rough shape.
Well, I mean, he's the crypt keeper incarnate. I mean,
The Crypt Keeper.
how old is Jerry Jones?
Jerry, God, he's got to be well into his 80s at this point by now.
He's 82.
Got
He
to.
just turned 82.
Okay, yeah.
First of all, he's worth 15.7 billion with a B.
Okay.
But secondly, my favorite part is him being upset, and he's not wrong. But now his Crown Jewel Stadium is being picked apart because they need.
Oh,
curtains.
yeah. Yeah, I know. They need. Yeah, they can't figure out what. Yeah, they can't figure out where the hell the sun reflection or the shadow is going to be. Your stadium that they probably spent, $2, $3, $4 billion on or whatever the hell it was. You can't even. You don't even have the shadows right, Jerry. Come on,
Jerry. Just hang it up, buddy. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. Now, I can tell you, did you watch the Tyson fight?
I did. I mean, I watched it with a buddy at a buddy's house on Friday night. I did you watch it at all? No? Yes or no? No. Okay.
No.
Well, first of all, we're both former radio guys, production guys, play-by-play guys. The broadcast in general by Netflix was atrocious. Like, there was streaming issues, microphones not working. Me and a buddy, we were actually in stitches. It was Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, and I think Andre Ward were on the panel, and Evander Holyfield's mic went out, and it basically turned into Lennox Lewis trying to interview Evander Holyfield because he had no idea what was going on, and his earpiece wasn't working. And then all the streaming issues, it kept buffering all the time. So the best fight of the night was the two girls, the Irish girl,
I did watch
Katie Taylor, and the Amanda Serrano. Even that was kind of frustrating because it was a great fight, but there was all the streaming issues. And man, those chicks, they were freaking throwing some serious punches, man. That was a great fight to watch.
Don't call them chicks, Ippolito. They come looking for us. You're on your own. Don't call them chicks. These ladies.
They
come looking for you. Hey, you. Right there. That way. Right there. No, I watched that one afterwards. I have no interest, and I'm going to tell you, I have no interest in it. I feel like the whole thing's rigged from the word go. It was
basically a paycheck for both of them. Hey, if you were Mike Tyson, someone wanted to offer you $20 million, you'd probably do it too. I know I would.
For $20 million, would you let them film your backside like they did Mike Tyson?
Yeah, well, that was something right there. I
saw that part on the socials.
Yes.
But I feel like it's, to me, I'm a WWE fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take away from the physicality of it.
Yeah,
but I think it's predetermined who's going to win.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, boxing is one of the most corrupt sports out there.
But I think Logan Paul or Jake Paul, whichever Paul it is, I think his is like I grew up watching Evander and watching Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I know that Don King likes to cook the books in boxing.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of that. But I think this is more. I think almost to the letter of it of, hey, don't knock him out. Don't fall.
Yeah. Well, it was very apparent watching this fight. First of all, 6+ months ago, he was really sick.
Sound like he was on his deathbed.
Yeah, he was in really rough shape. So not only was, say 6+ months ago, was he had some serious health issues. He's a 58-year-old man. It was very apparent that, he's a 58-year-old guy fighting basically a amateur boxer. I'll say this about Jake Paul. I think he is a. I'll give him this because I don't really like the guy that much, but I will say this: I do think he is a legitimate boxer. I'm not putting him in the the all time great. I'm not. That's just not what I'm saying. I do think he knows how to box, but um, you know, he is he's figured out how to parlay the whole Disney thing and all that into this. Because I'll be fully on it. Because like when he was on Disney, or I was an adult. I had no idea who this guy was or who his brother was until he even started boxing, and so that obviously made him turn into an even bigger star than what he already was. Because I had no idea who he was. I don't know. Did you?
I know. I thought he was a YouTube sensation,
Yeah,
and I guess he partially was, but
yeah,
then as time went along, I'm not taken away from the athlete that he is. And people
yeah,
can say he doesn't look like an athlete. No, he's an athlete. I give his
yeah.
brother as well, who's in the WWE. I give them all the credit for parlaying this YouTube sensation, Party Boys, into billion-dollar businesses. Kudos to them. I even hear, everybody says they can be a bit of D-bags. I don't know them personally.
I don't either.
Um,
I mean,
I
they
don't
don't seem
care.
like two people I would hang out with, but doesn't matter to me.
But it is like I think if you can look at them and look at the rest of social media, where people are making millions of dollars for playing video games, if
Hmm.
they're making millions for boxing,
Yeah.
at least at
And
least they're
their
doing.
promotions company and other stuff. Like I
Yeah,
had no idea. My buddy had to tell me Friday night. I get like the one Logan or whatever Logan. I think he's worth like $180 million, and Jake is worth like $80 million. Like I, that's just mind blowing to me because I don't even really. Outside of the buy, I don't even really know what they do. If I'm being 100% honest with you.
so they started what is it, Prime, the energy drink or sports drink.
Yeah,
um
yeah.
Logan Paul is in the WWE,
Okay.
and I you know me, I've been a long time WWE fan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No matter
So
what they
what's his? So what's his? Because you obviously follow,
Mhm.
more of the WWE stuff than I would right now. What's his like reputation in that? In the WWE, in the wrestling world, or the fans, like what? How does people view him?
He came out, and I think everyone thought he was just going to be this D-bag.
Okay.
But then he came out and he worked on the craft, and he's
Mm-hmm.
had some moments where that take a lot of athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
He did some things that are going to be memorable for a long time in the WWE, with guys
Okay.
who are superstars and legends in pro wrestling.
Okay.
And I think as long as they use him sparingly, don't use they
Mm-hmm.
because and that's what they're doing. They don't use him a lot.
Okay.
Um, I think he's
Now,
developed. I think his
would
image has changed because he's playing the character who he is, but at the
okay.
same time, he's athletic, he's charismatic, he's
Mm-hmm.
he's everything that you're just kind of like, okay, he's not terrible. I like him.
Well, that's what it's, especially I mean, you got to have that got play that character and get into that role because that's all you hear those guys talk about when they're on different podcasts or do Hulk and different things. All those guys that they got to get into that role or whatever. So, do you think will be one of those guys that is like in the WWE like Hall of Fame or
Yeah,
whatever, or is he just gonna be like, yeah, you do? Okay,
yes. And
okay,
I say that to say, because the moments that he's had where people have hated on him and said, well,
mm-hmm,
he gets a chance to rehearse so
okay,
much. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. He gets to rehearse more than your average wrestler. But what he's putting out there is not garbage. Where I liken it to when, and since we are shared stadium, Lawrence Taylor took on Bam Bam Bigelow. It was a debacle. It was bad. Like Lawrence Taylor looked, and this is Lawrence Taylor when he played football. So he looked
Yeah.
winded midway through I think it was about a 12-minute match. He looked winded. He looked exhausted. Where I'm looking at Logan Paul jumping off the top rope and flying through the air. And people can say whatever they want. And this is why I respect both Logan and his brother Jake. People say, oh, well, wrestling's fake. Okay, I tell you what. Go let them throw you through a table, real or fake. With gravity, when you hit the ground, it still hurts.
Oh yeah, no, I've even regardless of hearing some of these guys, whether it's Hulk or whatever different wrestler I've heard talking about this on other podcasts, and don't just because it, like you just said, just because it's choreographed does not mean that this is a legitimate sport. You have to be in amazing condition. Your body is going to take a beating, and especially if you don't know if you don't know what you're doing and all the different maneuvers and stuff, you can really injure either yourself or the person that you're in the ring with.
And that's the thing that. So, and I'll explain it to you really quickly. He was in a match with Rey Mysterio Jr., who's a much smaller wrestler.
This is Logan?
Logan.
Okay.
Rey Mysterio hits the rope, does a backflip. He's supposed to hit Logan Paul, but he shorts it, and Logan Paul's kind of out of position. He runs up, catches him in midair, and kind of like drops to one knee to prevent Rey Mysterio landing on his head. And then stands up, and they continue the match. And everybody was like, even long-term wrestlers were like, man, kudos to you, because you have to take care of, just for people who don't know, they don't hate each other. They don't,
most of them don't.
For those of you who don't know, who are a little bit older, the Iron Sheik got busted doing cocaine with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. The man who hated America and the man who carried an American flag got busted doing blow together in a car. Okay.
That was probably like the least criminal thing that those two did, if I had to guess, John.
Yeah, probably. But look, and I don't know if he still keeps it up. If you want a good laugh, go back and look through the Iron Sheik's Twitter account. I don't know if it's still up.
Yeah.
Oh, Baba. Just go back and watch and read through some of it. And the way he used to, whoever ran it, good for you. I hope you bring it back. If not, R.I.P. Iron Sheik. It was gold. The way he hated Hulk Hogan. I don't know if they hated each other in real life, but he used to talk trash on Hogan on Twitter. It was great. It was wonderful. I loved it. So it was great. We got off the rails here, but it's because basically the Giants suck.
Yeah, there's really not much to talk about. I mean, what is there to say? I mean, we're 2-8. We don't have a quarterback. I guess here's the only. I guess my only concern, going into the rest of the season, or finishing up the season, is I just hope that by passing up, like a Drew Lock or whatever, and going to DeVito, that it doesn't really kill the vibe in the locker room even more than it already is. Because I mean, at 2-8, it's already not a fun locker room to begin with.
No.
But I mean, when you have a legitimate backup quarterback who's been in the league for a while, I mean, we all know what he is or whatever. But when you pass him up and then you go to someone like DeVito, who by all accounts, I was hearing some, different callers on the Fan a while ago. Like everybody knows what it is. This guy is not the answer or whatever. So I don't know if they're just trying to do this just to try and capitalize and try and give people a reason to come to the stadium. Because at 2-8, I mean, I don't know what the hell you're going to watch at this point if you're a Giants fan.
Just so we're clear, if you have tickets that you don't want and they're really good seats, you can DM me at JohnRad450 on Instagram. I'll fly up and go see a game. Like
Yeah, I would too.
so you can DM us, and I'm a diehard, so I will
Yeah.
go and watch that team play.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
with very, 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 very low expectations, and I'm going for the entertainment value of I'm in the stadium. Wait. Oh, no, I'm good. Don't DM me. It's about to start snowing up there, and I'm not built for it anymore. I can't even sit here and pretend. It just dawned on me they're about to brace for a snowstorm. I'm not built for that
Yeah.
weather anymore.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
You
though,
gotta.
if you have a helmet, one of the Centennial Year helmets, if
Oh
you want to
yeah,
send
yeah,
that to
yeah.
me,
I'll take one
DM
of
me.
those too. I'll take
DM
them.
me at
Send two to
JohnRad450.
John. John will give me one.
And we'll get that squared away. But I can't go up there and do that. That cold up there is just that's a different type of cold, and I'm not built for that no more.
Yeah, it is, man. That is a different type of cold. I mean, because it started cooling off the last few days here in Atlanta. It's only 40s and 50s or whatever. Especially today, as the day that we're recording this, it was miserable, rainy, chilly day today. So yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not built for it. I'm trying to look up what teams have had the worst records. I mean, because ultimately, looking at the schedule, the
Hmm.
Giants could end up like 2-15.
Yeah.
That just sounds bad when you say that out loud.
Oh no, it's terrible. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I guess the thing I would be uh, looking at going is does Dable lose the locker room, and does it get to a point where it just becomes so toxic? And again, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that would be something that I would be curious to see what plays out or whatever. But I mean, yeah, I mean, outside of where we're picking in the draft next year and who our next quarterback's going to be, there's not much to be excited about for basically the last month and a half or so of the season, John.
No, it is OVA over. It's over. It's
That's
over.
right. That's right.
At this point in time, we can look around and I'll say we must be in bizarro world though, because okay, Giants are 2-8. That's fine. Just let's start with the NFC East. The Eagles are overrated to me. I like Saquon.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts to me might not be it. I don't think he's really it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I've been saying it. I've been saying it since day one that I think that the Eagles are overrated. I mean, they're a much better team than us.
That's not saying
yeah,
a lot.
oh well, yeah, but yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts. I thought he could have been the answer, but yeah, I don't know. You see some different things, you kind of scratch your head a little bit. And Nick Sirianni, I think I don't know what his deal is. Like, I know there's a lot. I talked to a lot of Phillies fans, and I've even
Sorry for
listened
that.
to I've even listened to some Philly sports talk radio.
Sorry for
A
that.
while
Shout
ago.
out to John Kincaid. We
Yeah,
love you.
yes. So there's a lot of Eagles fans that are definitely over Sirianni and would like to see him fire. And I know a lot of them were scratching their head on why he didn't get fired last year, the way things ended up there last year, and it's and how stupid is he? Was it a month or so ago? He's running his mouth to the fan base and all that sort of stuff. Like, who are you, man? Like, what? Really?
We're in bizarro world when the best team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and they are a good
They
team,
are
even with
good.
losing what's his face, Hutchinson.
They're still a good team.
They're still, yep.
And we were laughing at
And
the
they're
coach
and
when he
honest,
got started. He
Yeah,
wanted
and
to eat
honestly, they're
kneecaps.
a team that I think probably most football fans, especially if you're, two Giants fans like us, whose team is obviously not going to the playoffs. I'd like to see the
Playoffs.
Lions win
Playoffs.
playoffs. Yeah,
We're not talking about
I
playoffs.
playoffs.
We're trying to figure out who the
Yeah,
quarterback is, and you want to
that's
talk about
right.
playoffs. Playoffs.
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
No, I would like to see the Lions win. Get a Super Bowl. A team, and I feel like the Chiefs now. It's not like I don't hate them, or at least I haven't gotten to that point yet. But I mean, you can tell that the Chiefs are. There's a lot of people that are starting to view them as that. New England Patriots. Belichick, Tom Brady, type team,
They're likable
evil empire.
Patriots.
Yeah,
They're likable. The
yeah. I
Patriots
mean,
were not likable. Bill Belichick was a jerk.
yes,
Uh,
yeah.
Tom,
I like Andy Reid as
yeah,
a head coach, as a person. And I don't have anything against Mahomes. I mean, Kelsey doesn't bother me. I mean, yeah,
and can I tell you? Okay, I'll go ahead and say my
yeah.
perfect Super Bowl, the Super Bowl that I want, that nobody else will want. And
Mm-hmm.
I know there'll people who are hear this and be like, "That's crazy. Who would watch that Super Bowl?" Because it's not in two big markets. The Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl that I would want, though, the Bills versus the Lions.
Oh yeah, I would love to see that too. That actually, because you're getting two teams who have never won one before, and two rabid fan bases that would go absolutely bananas if they won it. Yeah, yes,
Those are
definitely.
the two teams that I'd love to see in the Super Bowl. You got quarterbacks that are good quarterbacks. You have a lot of fun weapons to watch there. You have two
Mm-hmm.
coaches that are just sitting there going for it. And the press conference leading up to it will be fun with everyone that's involved with it.
Yep.
Because I
Well,
think everything about it would be
Dan
fun.
Campbell. I'm sure he would have some gems in his pressers. Yeah.
And why am I drawing a blank? Did Stefan Diggs go from the
Yes,
Bills to the
yes, he
Texans?
went. I believe I believe he did. Yes.
So it's that whole controversy that goes with. I think everything about that sounds fun to me. You get to see Josh Allen, Von
Yeah.
Miller, Amari
Yep.
Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fun. So
I agree with you, man. I would love to see that. I would love to see a team who's never won it before. Yeah, I think that would I
that's the
think
one
that
for
would
me.
be a great Super Bowl. I mean, I'm sure the media guys probably wouldn't love it, but I mean, it would be a fun Super Bowl to watch for me.
The only other team that I would want in there if I couldn't get them,
Mm-hmm.
and once again, Atlanta, don't hate us. Put Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore. Baltimore. Another fan base. Maybe just because I have a friend who's a Vikings fan and they've never won a Super Bowl either. I would pull for them just because I know that they've never won a Super Bowl before too. I'm just trying to think of other team. I know the Ravens have Super Bowls or whatever, but some other teams that haven't won it before.
I was thinking of fun stories because
Yeah,
the other story that would be, boy, a fun one to tell, and particularly if they won it, because then I think you'd see several people ride off into the sunset, and that's the
yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers. I think if they won it, I think Mike Tomlin would hang it up. I think he wouldn't want to, but I think Russell Wilson would hang it up.
Yeah, I mean that gives him, that
Gives
gives
him
both of
two.
them their second Super Bowls, and
I thought didn't
they
Tomlin
can.
have three? Wouldn't that give Tomlin his third?
No, well, maybe no. I thought that they won that first one when Bill Cowher was there. I thought. Let me. Oh, this is what the Google's for.
Yeah,
Let's
this is
see.
what we got the Googles for. No, you're right.
I
He
think.
has one.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I. Yeah.
he has one as an assistant coach.
Oh, okay, okay. So one as a head coach, one as an assistant
Yeah,
coach.
so
Okay.
that would give him two. He would, you know, has a winning regular season record, winning
Yeah.
a losing postseason record, but it gives him one. I think Russell Wilson would go and sit down and just be a father because he's not the Russell Wilson that anybody thought they would get from Seattle.
No.
And Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields would lead that new team to the next few years.
Yeah, to the Actually, that would be a great storyline. Yeah.
So, well, this is the Shared Stadium podcast. Like I said, we apologize. We've been gone. We've been out for a week. Life has been lifing. But, truth be told, at the end of the day, if you don't like us, fight us.
That's
subscribe,
right.
and follow wherever you get your podcast. Tell somebody about it. Or if you want to have a little fun with us and you want to start some arguments, you can catch me on social media at JohnRad450. That's Twitter or X and Instagram. Keith, where can they catch you?
You can catch me at KeithIp86, and that's X and Instagram.
Yeah, so you can catch us out there. If you want to start some arguments, Keith is always down to argue. I'm not. I'll ignore you. I don't feel like arguing. But if you want to send me a helmet.
Yeah.
But until next time, we'd say bye, but that just wouldn't be us. So in other words, fight me.
Later.